All right, the forecast says sunshine today. We'll have to wait and see about that. Still a little fog out there. But you can expect sunny skies, a high 86 according to the forecast. Partly cloudy tonight, low 68. There's a slight chance of a shower moving in tomorrow. Otherwise, partly sunny, a high 88. And that 40% chance of showers on Friday. But they're going to be clearing out for the evening. Perfect for the Fredonia Summer Festival Parade. A high near 85 on Friday. 50-50 shot of showers on Saturday, a high 86. But again, for today, weatherman said sunshine, high 86. 69 at WPKY.
Well, all local artists, regardless of medium, are being invited to set up a booth at the annual Black Patch Festival. Now, that's Saturday, September 7th in downtown Princeton. Spots are still available. Art on Main will run from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the festival. Now, booth space is $10 for guild members, $30 for non-members. Space is limited, so register early. Registration deadline is Friday, August 23rd. For more information or to register, you can contact Director Melissa Peak at 270-625-2574.
Well, open registrations for students new to Caldwell County this year can get signed up at the open house. That is tomorrow, August 8th from 4 to 6 p.m. And while you're there for open house, make sure you stop by the Caldwell County Hope and Cope. Say hi, pick up your child's school supplies as well.
Well, the Fredonia Valley Bank is going to, I love this one. This is one of my favorite things this week. Fredonia Valley Bank will be giving away free ice cold watermelon before and after the Lions Club Summer Festival Parade in Fredonia in the Fredonia Valley Bank parking lot. Now, that's going to be in Fredonia starting at 5:30 on Friday, August the 9th, before and after the parade.
All right. Shane Bogle, Caldwell County Extension Agent for Agriculture and Natural Resource Education. He's announced the Caldwell Extension District Board meeting. That's going to be this Friday, August 9th at 7 at the Extension office.
Well, don't miss the final free movie Saturday for the summer at Capitol Cinema in downtown Princeton this week. It is A Dog's Purpose. Now, the doors open at 10 a.m. so that you can make sure you get a good seat. This is going to be a popular movie and, of course, the last one of the summer for free. Movie starts at 10:30.
You're fired up about this, Tess. You go ahead and read
am.
this next one. Go ahead.
Well, it's the Junior Pro Evaluation and Last Chance signups. It's going to be this Saturday. I'm telling you, I'm going to explode this week. It's football week, 9 a.m. on Saturday, City County Park in Princeton for grades 3 through 6. Now, if your child is wanting to play football, I promise you mine went through this Junior Pro as well, and they do such a good job. We have wonderful, wonderful coaches here in Caldwell County. For more information, you can call Chris Enos at 270-625-1557.
And a free meal for all at Fredonia First Baptist Church. Fredonia First Baptist Church on Cassidy Avenue in Fredonia invites the public for a free meal Monday, August 12th from 6 to 7:30. That's at the First Baptist Church Life Center in Fredonia. Everyone is welcome. Meal is free. For more information, call 270-545-3401.
Well, grab the kids. The Health First Community Health Center on South Jefferson Street in Princeton are going to host a back-to-school pool party. Now, the free swim day will be held Saturday, August 24th from 11 to 5, of course, at the City County Park right here in Princeton. Now, the children must be accompanied by an adult. For more information, call 270-365-9455.
WPKYonline@gmail.com. We're proud to call Caldwell County home. WPKY.
1580 103.3 WPKY. Tess and Ty at 8:06. And Coffee Talk is on the air. And we got one of my favorite peoples in here. I love it when Joni comes in here. She's always fun.
She's awesome.
I love her. She's got a senior this year, though.
But wait a second before we begin. Yes.
Why?
Let's say Joni is from the UK Extension Office.
I did. Didn't I say Joni?
Yeah, but she's from the Extension Office. She's the FNEP assistant.
No,
she's
actually, I've changed.
You changed.
I'm actually the SNEP Ed senior
The
assistant.
SNEP Ed. I love all that. SNEP Ed, FNEP, all that stuff. Tell us what the S.
You have a long. How big's your business card?
It's pretty long. That's why it's all like abbreviated. It's SNAP, N-A-P Ed.
SNAP Ed.
SNAP Ed.
Snap
like
Ed.
your Snap
Okay,
Ed.
awesome.
Yeah.
Snap Ed. There you go.
That.
See, I knew something had changed, so I kind of wanted to tell us about it.
Yeah. So I'm doing actually the same program as I've done before. My audience just changed. Is all that it is. So I'm still doing the same nutrition classes, cooking classes, just educating our community and our youth as well about nutrition and eating healthy. But my audience just changed. So.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
as long as you come visit us, we're good.
Hey, I'm good with that. I like coming and visiting you all. But I got tickled a while ago when y'all was talking about the pickles, but that's okay.
You know, it's school time, and that's a big time to talk about nutrition and food and different things
actually,
for
that's
the kids.
that's actually what I'm here for today, is just talking
Look at
about
that.
eating healthy lunches. I know our community, we've got another free year as far as free lunches and breakfasts, but a lot of people don't take advantage of that, and they far as fix their lunches for their children. So just thought I'd hit the highlights of making sure that you're choosing healthy foods for them.
I'm glad you are. And, one of my kids are really good. Of course, I have 3 of them. And I have twins that are in the middle school. And one of my sons will eat anything you put in front of him, vegetable-wise. Loves broccoli, hates hot dogs. I mean, that's just the way that he is. And so he does really good for Miss Vicky and everybody at school to eat. Now, CJ, on the other hand, I'm going to throw him under the bus. He's one of those that is very picky eater. And so, I mean, for years, he always wanted me to pack his lunch because, he's really picky. And he's one of those, and unless mom cooks it, he's not eating it, So, I mean, what do you suggest for somebody like me that has a picky kid? I do have the kids that are more than happy to eat just about anything. And then I have that one that's got to be difficult all the time. So, for somebody like me, what is some healthy alternatives for lunch?
Well, it really depends on what he likes. First of all, I would probably try incorporating as far as different foods at home instead of sending him at lunch, because we definitely want him to eat while he's at school.
But I figure if that's the only thing he's got, he'll have to eat it, right?
Not necessarily.
I'm joking. I don't do that.
Not necessarily. So, but I would try incorporate it at home first before. I mean, I used to have a picky eater myself. So now, though, he'll eat anything I put on his plate. He's not picky anymore, but it's just that trial and error of, try Hello Bites is what we call them. Try one bite of it, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to eat it again. But then maybe incorporate it, a couple of months down the road again. Hey, try this again, because our taste buds are completely different. There's things that I did not want to eat whenever I was a kid that I eat now. Turnips is one of them. My mother used to cook them, and it's like, I couldn't
I'm with you on that
stand the smell
Brussels
of it.
sprouts are mine.
Brussels sprouts was another one. I love Brussels sprouts now. I used to not like them.
Right.
So our taste buds are different and change, throughout the years. So, I mean, just incorporate little things of things.
Didn't you love it in the summertime? Mamaw or mom or dad cooking a big old pot of cabbage when you come in the back door? You're like, what happened in here?
I know. And now you come in and you're almost like, cabbage. When you can
love
smell
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, mine has bacon in it. It's really bad.
I used to say my mom would cook cabbage when we was kids, and I put Velveeta cheese. That was the only way I would eat it.
I've never had it with cheese.
We were just talking about peanut butter is great because it's protein.
Oh, absolutely,
and then,
yes.
Most kids, they'll celery. The trick was in kindergarten, at least when I was, you put the peanut butter in the celery, and most people, you didn't want the celery by itself. You throw that peanut butter in there, but kids come in after school snack or whatever, just the old peanut butter spoon is probably just a little shot of protein, and it's good for them. It's not too bad. I know there's some that have a little bit more sugar than others, and you got to be careful about that. But I would think that that's something, if you can incorporate peanut butter, usually works pretty good, wouldn't you say?
Right. Yeah, peanut butter is a very good alternative far as with, because it is protein, like you said, Ty, and it could go with lots of different things. It could go with an apple, and you're getting a fruit in plus a protein. Celery's a vegetable. So, I mean, you can incorporate peanut butter, even putting it in his lunchbox if he
loves peanut butter.
So then incorporate, something else healthy to go with it if you can get him to try it. So.
Well, and one of the things that he had brought up, and of course, everything sounds good for him. It sounds like a good idea because it's what he wants. But what if, and I had heard about, the popcorn that they have now that doesn't have a lot of the bad stuff on it.
Right.
And then we have an air popper that I had gotten. So, I know that's, already a little bit better. But then they have the little sprinkles, the flavor sprinkles and that sort of thing. Is that a decent alternative, to like a potato chip, something crunchy, but that is not as bad for them as, say, a potato chip?
Absolutely. Popcorn goes bad when we start adding all the extra salts and the butter on top of it. So, I mean, when you're adding the other flavors, you can even put oregano on that popcorn. You can even put Parmesan cheese on that, You can make it into like a pizza, far as popcorn. And it is and you air popping it.
Oh, it's good.
It is. It's actually, that's one of our recipes that we do at the office as well. See? So you're doing good, Tess. You're doing really good.
I cheated, really. I mean, because when we were over there, and I wanted an air popper so bad because the kids were at the point where they really liked, popcorn, wanted to do it themselves. And I thought, I grew up, we used to do the popcorn on the stove in the iron kettle all the time. And I wanted to do something that's similar that they could do and they could replicate on their own. And we got the air popper, so that it would be a little healthier. I saw the garlic Parmesan sprinkles on the shelf. And at the bottom, we ran out one time. And I was like, oh, man, because I like that stuff, too.
Right.
Well, then we found out that, hey, I got a little Parmesan and I got some garlic powder. I wonder how that would work. And it was awesome. So now we do it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, maybe even a little cheaper. And it goes a little bit farther when you buy it like that as well. So there's other alternatives, especially when it comes. But popcorn is a fantastic one as long as you're not adding the extra butter and the salt to it. Yes.
Well, now, what about drinks, too? I mean, this is another big one. Like, I found out, again, the hard way, what we used to do is they always lose the little ice packs that are in there that, make sure that everything doesn't spoil over the course of a day, especially when it's in the 80s when they're starting school right now. What we used to do was take Capri Sun packs and freeze them, which is their juice and everything, in kind of a cooler pack all in one. But I mean, what is the sugar content like in a lot of that stuff now? Is there better alternatives? Can I freeze Gatorade the same way? What do I do that way? Like in the line of drinks?
Okay, well, number one, water is great. Water is the best alternative for anything, and then you can buy the little flavor packets, and most of them only have like 5% or 5 calories in them, and the sugar there is no sugar content in them because they do have artificial sweetener in them. As far as your Gatorades and your sugary drinks, I'd be very limited on them because it does have a lot of sugar in them. Gatorades are fantastic and wonderful if you're as far as playing sports and that, but you have to be careful with that as well because they do have a lot of sugar in them. And
I heard you could overdo it with Gatorade,
absolutely,
right?
And people don't realize, they're a sports drink. Yes, they are, but it does have a lot of extra sugar in there that you don't realize in there as well. And I can't tell you the exact amount because I would have to look at the food label on it, but I do a lesson on far as what's your drink, but water is the best alternative, and you can actually freeze them as well and put them in there, and they can serve two purposes.
And I will tell you, my kid was probably, actually, I can tell you exactly how old he was when I figured that out by accident. He was in starting the 6th grade. My kids were, before I ever realized, oh my goodness, all these years I messed with these frozen ice pack things, and I could have just been freezing their juice or their water. Why didn't I think about that?
Right.
And that's something that you just don't sometimes. If somebody doesn't bring it to your attention. But, in the Gatorade, I know someone who actually overdid it on Gatorade this summer and got pretty sick from it. You know, it's just like anything else. And the energy drinks, we've had some problems in
Oh,
this
yeah.
community this summer with energy drinks, correct?
I don't know about the problems we've had, but energy drinks are not good for you at all. Period. I don't care what age you are. They mess with your heart, you know, and it has so much caffeine in them. It just messes with you all. So, and I would stay away from the energy drinks, all the energy drinks.
I'll admit I'm bad about the iced coffee. I am. That's kind of a that's a guilty pleasure. My tie. It can tell.
But they don't have much added junk in there. It's mainly just caffeine.
I threw away the
energy
evidence
drinks
before
have,
Joni got here.
You know, guaninine and caffeine
Yeah.
and L-arginine and complex B vitamins and all that stuff is, you know, it does. It
makes your
raises
heart
your
race,
heart rate,
yeah.
and it's not necessarily a good thing, caffeine in there. But, you know, yeah, I probably drink too much caffeine in the morning, but you know, it's not like there's anything else added in it. It's just black coffee.
Right.
You know? But if you have too much, you know, it's
And I
good for you.
do.
Well,
I'm
and-
somebody that adds all that stuff into it too.
Well,
I
and-
like everything that you throw in it.
Absolutely. Well, and the thing of it is, then you got to be careful with energy drinks because they add different far as ingredients in there that I don't have a clue what they are. People don't have a clue what they are. So I encourage, if you drink an energy drink, start looking up the ingredients and seeing what that ingredients is, because you will be pleasantly surprised of what all is in that drink. So,
Well, I guess with water you don't have to really worry about.
nope. Nope. And
That's
don't get me
kind of a
wrong,
plus.
sometimes I don't like drinking water myself, but, you know, it's still a very good, better alternative than some of the other. And plus, our body needs that water. So it helps with so many different functions with our body. So we do need
the best
water.
thing to drink. It
really
really
is.
is. It really
Yes.
is.
Well, and back in the day, I'll admit there was a whole thing about artificial sweetener and how it was, you know, you shouldn't drink too much of that either. And I mean, have we learned more and more over the years about that? I mean, is that something that's more widely acceptable now?
It depends on who you talk to. As far as research based and that, you know, a lot of people still say that the better alternative is artificial sweeteners and that, and other people say, well, it's not. You know, it causes this,
Right.
this, and this. So, from the University of Kentucky standpoint, artificial sweeteners are still the best as far as alternative when it comes to other sugars. So it just doesn't have the sugar content and the calories that our body does not need. So
I like my sweet tea.
yeah.
I do. And so does my daughter. Well, and you know, as parents, we are setting the example.
Absolutely.
And when you look at your household, and I am the worst example in the world when it comes to coffee and sweet tea, and I've got a thing for soda as well, that if I could let go of that, I'd probably drop 20 pounds in a week and a half. But it's one of those things that when you're a parent, and I'm just as guilty as anybody, I need to set a better example for that.
Right, especially when we have young children, because, I mean, they eat what we put on their plates, they drink what we give them. I mean, so if we're not teaching them the proper way of eating and choosing all the different food groups, you know, then that's the way they're going to eat the rest of their lives as well.
Is it still My Plate, sort of the guide?
Yes.
My Plate. You can go to myplate.gov, check out the way your plate should look, what it should have on it. It's pretty an awesome website because it basically is, you know, used to the government had the old food pyramid.
Yep.
Well, we don't have that anymore. It's been altered by the United States government. You know, I don't want the government telling me how to eat. But in your opinion, myplate.gov does a lot better job in nutrition and getting probably things in the right proportion for your not only your different macronutrients, but of course the size of your portions as well.
Absolutely. You know, choose myplate.gov. If you have time to check it out, I would, because they have so many different resources. Plus, it's My Plate is actually a plate.
Yes.
You know, it has got all the 5 different food groups. It's got our fruits, our vegetables, our protein, and our dairy, and also I just left one out: protein, dairy, fruits, vegetables, grains.
Yes.
I knew I left one of them out. And it actually shows you, you know, the amounts, how much you need to be putting on your plate when you eat them, you know, and it breaks it down, you know, how many calories you need in a day, how many serving sizes you need of each one of them every day. So, because every one of them plays a different key role in our body.
Well, and right now, right before school starts, especially little girls, and I call them little girls, teenage girls, we're so hard on ourselves. I mean,
Yes.
we really are. And now when everybody's trying to impress at the first of the year and they're going school shopping and they want to look their best, half of the teenage girls that I've talked to lately, oh, I'm on a diet. Starving yourself is not a good idea.
No, absolutely not. And going on a diet is not the best way to do it. It is a lifestyle change. That is the only key way that you're going to stay healthy, lose weight, is going to change your habits and your behaviors with food. Personally, I'm a stress eater. So when I'm stressed, I eat, and that is not good at all, and sometimes I forget, even myself that teaches nutrition, it's hard, but it is a lifestyle change. So
in that teenager's brain, they just think, well, if I don't eat anything, I won't gain weight. And that's not true.
It's an adult thing, too.
Yeah.
So
Right.
a lot of times adults think, oh, well, I'll eat 1,000 calories. You can't do that either, because that puts your body into starvation mode.
Yep.
And that is not where you want to be, because all that weight that you have lost, guess what? You're going to gain it all back in a couple of weeks when you decide to start eating
It really
again.
messes up your metabolism, and but the fantastic thing is you use the myplate.gov, and that's a great resource for anybody that has a computer or a smartphone to go to. And then, of course, your resources out at the UK Extension Office, you have research-based information out there on nutrition from the University of Kentucky. And if people have questions, of course, about nutrition, dietary, there's a lot of great information that you have at your fingertips to help as well.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't have access to that internet to be able to look that up, give me a call. That number is 270-365-2787. My name is Joni Phelps. Call me, and I will, as far as help you be able to determine, how many calories you need in a day, what kind of food you need to be eating, right along with your family as well. So,
well, one thing I love about that is, in the world of the internet, there's some misgivings, and
Right.
some sites are good, some sites are not. Some of them, they may be wanting to sell a product, so their views and
careful.
opinions on something might be skewed. You've got the University of Kentucky backing you. So, you're getting your information. And so if you call the Extension office and talk to Joni, she knows where to look and where not to look.
absolutely, and anybody can call me, anytime where I'm at the office. If you don't want to call, you can email me. That my email is jkbarr3@uky.edu, and you can call or email me. I can help you right along with whatever you need as far as when it comes to your nutrition.
Well, Miss Joni, we
Thank
appreciate you coming in. I always have a ball when you come.
I'm so glad to be
We
here
get
this
to
morning.
catch
Y'all
up.
just make it so fun. So
Well, I'll tell you, we might have known each other for a minute or two, and we always love it when people come in and we get to visit a little bit too. So we get a kick out of that. So it's testing time. Miss Joni Phelps with the Caldwell County Extension Office. We sure do appreciate it. And hey, come back whenever you want to.
actually, I think I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
That
So.
sounds good to me.
Thank
8:23.
you.
Stick around. We're actually going to catch up and stay on this school bandwagon a little bit and see what we need to do and catch up from the folks at the Caldwell County Medical Center, and they're going to let us know what we need to do right before school starts. It's Tess and Ty and Coffee Talk, 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Celebrate Sizzling Sprint Weekend with amazing savings at your local Sprint store August 9th, 10th, and 11th. Now, for a limited time, when you switch to Sprint, you can pick up iPad on us when you lease a new iPhone. That's right, get iPad on us when you lease a new iPhone at Sprint. It's an unrivaled pair. Plus, this weekend only, when you switch to Sprint, you'll get $100 via prepaid MasterCard for each new phone you lease. The more lines you switch, the more savings you'll get. There's never been a better time to switch to Sprint. Stop by your local Sprint store during Sizzling Sprint Weekend, August 9th, 10th, and 11th to learn more and check out other great deals. Requires port, online registration, and 60 days of service before card ships. Card terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Member FDIC. iPad 6 Gen 32 GB, $0 per month after 1917 monthly credit for 24 months. Credit apply within 2 bills. Requires new line on qualifying plan. If you cancel early, remaining balance due. Tax due at sale.
This is Mallory Hancock Lawrence, and we love our Caldwell and Lyon County friends. We invite you to come to Cada's anytime you can to shop with us. We're making it even easier for you. Whether you work in Cada's or just come to town for a visit, stop in and shop with us. But if you're in a hurry, you can pre-order your groceries at hancocksneighborhoodmarket.com. It's so easy and convenient. Of course, we want to see your smiling face anytime we can, but if you're in a hurry, hancocksneighborhoodmarket.com is the way to go. Hancock's Neighborhood Market, Cada's.
Mark Patrick Hypnosis is coming to Hopkinsville on September 12th for one day only. Lose weight or stop smoking now through hypnosis. Join the over 500,000 people who have stopped smoking and lost weight the Mark Patrick way. That's right. Join America's best-known hypnotist, Mark Patrick. Weight Loss Hypnosis Seminar is Thursday, September 12th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop Smoking Hypnosis Seminar is from 8 to 10 p.m. Both are at the Holiday Inn Hotel, 2910 Fort Campbell Boulevard. Registration starts 30 minutes prior to sessions. Seating is limited, so get there early to reserve your spot. For only $49.99, attend these life-changing programs and learn how the power of hypnosis can help achieve your goal to lose weight or stop smoking without any willpower. 100% guaranteed. So whether you need to lose weight or want to stop smoking, join Mark Patrick Hypnosis Thursday, September 12th at the Holiday Inn Hotel, 2910 Fort Campbell Boulevard. Doors open 30 minutes prior to seminars. Go to markpatrickseminars.com.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors & More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors & More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. Quality brands, excellent customer service, combined with 40 years experience is why they say you can walk on our reputation. See Bill and Lucy at Perry's Floors & More, 127 West Market Street, Princeton.
Get ready for back to school with Health First Community Health Center, offering immunizations, physicals, and well or sick child visits. At Health First, we are here to help your family get prepared and stay healthy this school year. Schedule your appointment today at 877-667-7017. That's 877-667-7017. Same day and walk-in appointments are available. Located at 1100 South Jefferson Street in Princeton. At Health First Community Health Center, your health is our first concern.
1580 103.3 WPKY, Tess and Ty and Miss Deborah Stovall, and I'm so excited about her being here, and so for like multiple reasons. Number one, I just love seeing her because we like her being around. Mr. Joe Duncan was here a few minutes ago. We like catching up with him, but I will tell you right here before school time, Miss Deborah, of course, is a nurse practitioner here with the Caldwell County Medical Center, and I will tell you, it's the time of year that kids probably don't enjoy, which is the vaccinations. But it's those, you and I were just talking about that. It's something that they're, when you say that some of these things, those are only in big cities, they're not going to come here. Well, guess what? One of the ones that Miss Deborah warned you about the last time she was here is here, right?
Yes, and the thing is, it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. And if you're prepared beforehand, you don't have to worry about it happening. So we talked last time about Hep A and Hep B, and we are starting to see some Hep A locally. And I've noticed the pharmacies are really good, and the providers in this area about, hey, we've got it in. Why don't you go ahead and get started on this? And that's great.
And you had warned us, it's coming. You saw the trends ahead of time. Look, it's getting closer and closer and closer to our area. And now that it's here, now that there's confirmed cases, right here, at your back door, basically.
Right.
How do we keep our kids safe? And it's not just from school. I mean, it can be from anywhere, really. And how do they, let's start there. How do they contract it? How do they get it? How do we get it?
What are we talking about?
Hep.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about Hep A first. There's different types.
Right. Hep A is oral fecally transmitted, which means basically somebody didn't wash their hands, or maybe they're sick and they didn't wash their hands after they sneezed, or or did other things, and then they prepare your food at the restaurant.
Oh, okay. So,
or you could be exposed to somebody more closer to home. I mean, maybe it's a family member, or that's the easiest one as far as the food type,
right.
And
that's one that we could contract.
Yeah,
going to the grocery store, just about.
Yeah, definitely.
And now, and we can get an immunization that'll protect us from that.
Yes,
and our children as well.
Yes, one shot now, and then one shot, and I would have to double check myself with the CDC, but I believe it's 5 months after that. But it's all over and done within 6 months.
And how old can somebody be? I mean, is this starting out as babies, or
they do vaccinate babies now?
Okay.
For some of the Heps. And then, of course, for us, any age, we can do it.
And if these really
anytime.
weren't around earlier for folks our age,
Right.
these vaccines weren't
Right.
offered. So this is kind of, it's not a new thing.
Right.
But yet you see it more and more because, especially in the big cities where there's a lot of intravenous drug use, you see it there
Yes.
as well. And it gets in the kind of the
Yes.
community that way. Somebody may be doing that, working in a restaurant, then maybe not wash their hands, and
Right.
then it gets and it kind of spreads
Right.
that way. And then there's Hep B is a little bit different. Tell us about it.
Hep B is through blood or body fluids.
That's right.
Then you see that a lot with IV drug use and in a lot more in the bigger cities
In the bigger
and
inner
things.
city,
Yeah.
yeah. So.
And unfortunately, it can lay dormant for a long time, just like the Hep C. And then come up and say, hello.
Right.
Rear its ugly
Yeah.
head, right?
And of course, these affect your liver. You only have one liver,
Right, right.
And most of the time that these things, in my research that I've read, the Hep A especially, there's really not a whole lot. If you contract it, it just sort of has to resolve. Isn't that correct? Or there's medicine you can take,
there's treatment, but yes, normally the folks will just say that they're feeling bad and run down, but then all of a sudden they're yellow.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the first place to catch that is in the white of the eyes. It'll be just a yellow, weird science fiction movie flick type yellow.
So it's an obvious yellow.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not just, I
Yeah.
wonder. No,
Yeah.
it's going to be obvious.
And by then, the liver's already being attacked, and you need to get in somewhere real quick.
Well, and we've got our kids going to college. We've got our kids going
Right.
back to school. We've got all of these things. And sometimes our kids, even adults, we're not always the best at washing hands when we're in a hurry, especially when kids get away from mom and dad and they're not there reminding them all the time to wash their hands. Or especially, they can forget just as well. So that's something that, we can get immunizations for, protect our kids, protect ourselves for both, right?
Right, and that's kind of why I'm here today, because we're going to talk about school physicals, our annual physicals. Even adults, and I worked in the school system for 11 school years, and the thing that we see most, some of the school care or health care that the kids get, the only health care that they get is the care that they get from the school nurse. So that's something I'm very passionate about, because that's what I was a school nurse. So it's very important to get those kids in for their annual exams, even though if you think, they're doing fine, get them in there. It's a preventative health maintenance exam. Get them in, talk to the provider that you're seeing, see what's going around in the community, just like we were talking about things going around. See what you need to do to protect your child.
Because there's different things to look for that you may know, like even the
Right.
condition of their fingernails or
Right.
different things like that you would know the signs of that we just don't.
Right. I had a patient this week that was saying, they brought them in for their annual exam and getting them ready for school, get the things taken care of that they had to have, but we found some issues that they didn't realize was going on, but because they came in so early, they can start the preventative measures to keep it from snowballing whenever the ragweed and goldenrod and all that really hits. And we've got harvesting that's been going on, and now we're fixing to start seeing corn harvest and things like that. And they're still cutting hay, and there's a lot of stuff in the air, so people are starting to get the allergy components going. But because this person brought her child in, they were able to, I could say, hey, go ahead and get them back on their preventative allergy medication, and that way when that season hits full blown, she's protected.
I love that.
So
even down to the EpiPens. That's
yes,
something that,
yes.
You've
And
got to pay attention to.
This is the time of year with the kids getting ready to go back into school. You have to have those EpiPens fresh for the year so that the school will have them on hand. And a lot of people think that, they're really expensive now. There's alternatives to that, though. You can get them cheaper. There's different ways around that, but your provider will be able to help with that. But you need to have the 2 EpiPens. Don't break up the set. Take both EpiPens into the school. Get your provider to write you a script for the school and a script to have at home. That way, when you take those 2 to the school, they have both of them, should they, God forbid, need both of them. Because sometimes you give the first one, and then 7 minutes later, you have to give that second one. If they don't have a second one, that child's not going to get it.
Well, and I'll tell you, I learned that from you the last time you were here. If you don't remember that, I had no clue that really, because I broke them up. I'd put one in the glove compartment, throw one in my purse, put one here, put one there in the barn, in the tack room, so it'd be there.
Right.
I mean, I've got one stashed at my mom and dad, but I didn't think about the fact, and it's common sense, I guess. I mean, but I just didn't think about the fact that I would need two.
Right. It's very possible, hopefully not, but it's very possible that your condition, depending on what your exposure was and what your trigger is, that you may need both of them. But again, this is a great time to get all that taken care of and get the things before. Wait until the last second to get in, which I think school starts next week. And this is a new service that we are about to open up at the clinic where I work. And we're going to start taking walk-ins because there are people who have waited until the last minute or the providers are overbooked. And luckily for you guys, I'm not overbooked yet. So
well, tell us about it.
I don't see how that's not possible. I love her because she's so down to earth, and when she explains something to you, you can actually understand it.
Well, I am a new provider, and I'm still establishing my patient base, so I don't have a whole lot of appointments totally booked out like a lot of the other providers. So it's very possible you could walk in and be seen right then. Or we could say, hey, we're a little bit tied up. Let's set you down for this appointment time here, and then you can come back. So,
what I love is when you talk about that you used to be a school nurse. I mean, that's something that, and that's why she can speak to you in a way that is clear and to be able to understand, because you've had the young ones, but you've also dealt with the older folks as well.
The children that I've taken care of in the past are from the ages of 3 to graduation. So yes, unfortunately, that's a job hazard. I can break things down pretty good.
Well, what about elderly as well? You know, they say, well, I'm not a kid anymore. You know, do I need a specialist or?
There are geriatric nurse practitioners or geriatric specialists, but I also have a background in home health. So I've taken care of the whole genre of birth to death. And that's the awesome thing about being a family nurse practitioner is I can take care of them when they're born all the way until later.
See, I love that about her. She's a one-stop shop. I love that because, well, I mean, a lot of times, to be honest, in my house, if one person gets it, it's going through the house.
It goes through the whole family, yes.
Everybody's getting it, including my mom and dad.
Well, tell us how we can get hooked up with your clinic if we need a physical. We need our child to have a physical. Tell us how it works.
I'm associated with Caldwell Medical Associates, which I am housed in the same building out across from Polyaz that Dr. Littlejohn is in. We both work for the Caldwell County Hospital, but I'm on the one side of the building and he's on the other. But the number out there is 270-365, and the girls at the office are going to be laughing at this, 3343, because I've had a hard time remembering that number.
Throw that 4 in there.
I'll tell you, I've called that number many times over the years, and I always get the last 2 numbers flip-flopped. I don't know if that's you. So, yeah, that's I'm with you.
Well, we've got a great group of people that work out there. They work great together, and they've really welcomed me in, and you know, that's nice whenever you go into a new place. And
I will say the nurses there can really help you over the phone if you need it.
Yeah, they're great. They can answer any questions that you might have. But if you want to walk in, you can, or you're more than welcome to call. I know you'll get in and be able to be seen.
Well, I know I've talked a lot about football here lately, Ty. I know I have. But sports physicals.
Sports physicals are different from school physicals.
And see, I didn't know this. That's why I want to bring this up.
Yeah, school physicals are a preventative health visit. And that's when we sit down, see how things are going, see if we find anything that seems to be needing to be addressed, update any vaccines that need to be done, so on and so forth. It's a general medical exam. A sports physical is geared specifically toward how the body reacts to exertion and exercise. So, and it requires a cardiac component, where a general medical, you look at the whole body as a system and go through each one. But with the sports physical, it's literally geared more towards how your body reacts to exercise.
Well, and see, that's something I think a lot of parents, I didn't realize. And until my kids were in football and band and that sort of thing, and I think they were probably a couple of years into it before I realized, you know, it had just always been done for me. So, I guess I was fortunate enough. But I finally had the physical thing one year, and I was like, hey, okay, well, here's my sheet. And they, oh, no, you need a sports physical.
And that is
different.
Yes, it is. And a lot of people mistakenly think, well, they had their school physical. Isn't that enough? But no, it's not. And actually, a sports physical has to be signed off either by an MD or NP, which is what I am as a nurse practitioner, or a physician, because it does have that cardiac component in it.
Okay.
Now, most out at the clinic, of course, if someone's listening, they're going, but the wellness physicals pretty much are, if you have certain insurance and stuff, they're pretty much, is that a covered thing? Do they need to worry about that? How does that work?
Well, it depends on your insurance, of course, but most insurances will pay for a yearly wellness exam completely.
Yeah.
And now some people will also, I'm one of them. I'm using myself evidently a lot today, but I couldn't tell you what immunizations I've had and what I haven't over the last few years. If somebody comes in and says, you know what, is that something you guys can look into and help me figure out what I need and what I'm needing?
If you are an adult and you're pretty sure you've had your shots, what we would do, we would either advise you on how to track that information down, or as an adult who doesn't know exactly the extended vaccines that you've had, there are things called titers that you can have done, and they draw those to see if you are active and you have an active immunity. And actually, when I went to work at the hospital, I had to have some of those done. I found out then I'd had the Hep B series, but it wasn't active. So when they did that blood titer, they saw that and gave me a booster, and now we've rechecked it and I'm active again.
I love that because, I don't remember what I had when I was a kid.
Right.
And, if it's been a minute or two, I'm not going to tell you how many minutes or two, but if it's been a minute or two, mom and dad at this point, they may not remember either. They've done raised their kids, so.
Right. And some of us, unfortunately, we've lost our parents, and you don't have that source of information anymore. So it's hard unless you know where to. Well, I think I might have got them at this place. Unless you can go to that place and check, it may be something that you don't have any information on.
And now that's something they can do with you, correct?
We can advise and we can help.
All right, my last thing: when is a tick a problem? Like, okay, I get a tick off.
Yeah.
When's it a problem? What if I look at the tick where he bit me? What is the big bad warning sign that I need to come see you? It's not something that I need to scratch and wait around on.
If you have any swelling or any redness, you need to come see us, because ticks pack their own little germs around. And a lot of the people this year that has been tested for Rocky Mountain spotted fever or Lyme's disease, they're coming back positive. It's not if it happens, it's when it happens. It's here. So it's just best to be safe than sorry. The treatment for either of those is a simple antibiotic prescription that will not hurt you unless you're allergic to it, and then there's alternatives, and we can give you something different. But yes, definitely seek medical care.
The great thing is, too, about Caldwell Medical Associates is it's right here in town. Familiar faces, familiar smiles, and they'll get you in and out because Deborah, again, establishing that base. If, I encourage you to head on out there, and if your child needs a physical, that might be something. It doesn't take too long to get a physical, does it?
It takes about half an hour, and that's if we get to talking.
Well, and what are the odds of that, really? Yeah. I will say, too, if you're the parent or maybe a family member or a guardian of a special needs person, she does an excellent job with that. I will say, I've seen her with my son and do an excellent job with those cases. And so, that's one of those things that I would like to know as a mom. And so, yeah, there you go. I'll talk about you when you're sitting right in front of me. How about that?
Thank you. I appreciate
Medical Associates out off, I think that's, is that Macbeth?
Macbeth Drive, 820 Macbeth Drive.
820 Macbeth Drive, and give that phone number again. I'm going to see if you can throw that 4 in there.
Yeah, 270-365-3343.
She got it.
Hey,
awesome.
I love that. Miss Deborah Stovall, nurse practitioner right here in Princeton. And Ty, I feel pretty fortunate that we've got this. Hey, she comes on and she explains things to us, and we sure do appreciate it.
Great to have our Caldwell Medical Center. All the resources that we have here in this county because, it's small town, it's rural, but you know what? Most medical procedures, most medical tests that you need can be done right here in our hometown with Caldwell Medical Center and Caldwell Medical Associates. So thank you very much.
Thank you all.
WPKY.
Celebrate Sizzling Sprint Weekend with amazing savings at your local Sprint store August 9th, 10th, and 11th. Now, for a limited time, when you switch to Sprint, you can pick up iPad on us when you lease a new iPhone. That's right, get iPad on us when you lease a new iPhone at Sprint. It's an unrivaled pair. Plus, this weekend only, when you switch to Sprint, you'll get $100 via prepaid MasterCard for each new phone you lease. The more lines you switch, the more savings you'll get. There's never been a better time to switch to Sprint. Stop by your local Sprint store during Sizzling Sprint Weekend, August 9th, 10th, and 11th to learn more and check out other great deals. Requires port, online registration, and 60 days of service before card ships. Card terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Member FDIC. iPad 6 Gen 32 GB, $0 per month after 1917. Monthly credit for 24 months. Credit apply within 2 bills. Requires new line on qualifying plan. If you cancel early, remaining balance due. Tax due at sale.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
All right, the sun's finally starting to show its face. A high today of 86, partly cloudy tonight, a low down to 68. We do have a slight chance of showers tomorrow, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 88. 40% chance of showers creeps in early on Friday, and then partly sunny for the rest of the afternoon and evening, a high near 85. And if you're heading out to that Fredonia Summer Festival, just a slight chance of some showers early. It should be a great day for that, a high near 86 on Saturday. But again, for today, it is sunshine, a high 86, and it's 72. And a little bit of sunshine at WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Health First Community Health Center.
Well, 1580 103.3 WPKY, Tess and Ty and Coffee Talk is on the air, and we've got a good special guest in with us today, and Magistrate for District 2, Mr. Jeff Boone. Good morning.
Good morning.
I sure do appreciate you coming in this morning.
Glad to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to be with y'all.
I gave him a call yesterday and said, please help me. We've got road closings out in my neck of the woods, and I said, hey, this is going to be a little more significant than I think some people realize because it's 293 North right there at Barbecue Valley. A lot of people go up and down through there.
Yeah, it's amazing how long it takes to get around the detour. Just like when they were working on the tracks here at Casey's, you could get right to where you wanted to be and then couldn't get across the railroad track. And going to be a little bit more inconvenient out at Barbecue Valley between Eureka Road and Hebron Road. You're either going to have to jump across 1119 and come back 139 to come into town, or if you know some of the county bypasses, you may get through them, but the state will not detour people through anywhere other than state roads. So it's the reason the detour signs end up the way they do. A lot of times we wonder why things happen the way they do, but when you get to asking, the state cannot legally detour people through county roads.
And I didn't know that until you said that. I had no idea. And I don't think most people do. That's probably something that's not just widely known.
Yeah, go ahead.
Once you get inside the government, of course I spent 30 years with the federal, but once you get inside the government, you start asking questions, and there is a reason why things have to work the way they work, but a lot of times it doesn't seem to make sense, but there is always a good reason and a good sound reason.
Well, and again, there's going to be some pretty good work done there on the shoulders as well,
Yes.
and that little area through there really needs it.
Well, there was a young lady, I had the privilege of doing her wedding, and then less than 2 years later doing her funeral as a result of the flood area on the road, and hopefully the shoulder work and the drainage work will help take care of that standing water. The hydroplaning is terrible right in that area.
Well, now what causes that? That's one of those things. What causes the flooding in certain spots and maybe it doesn't in others? When you talk about the drainage system, what are they going to do exactly?
My understanding, I assume, based on Keith Todd's message that came out, and anybody can sign up for that, but based on his message that came out yesterday morning, it appears that they're going to replace a culvert under the road there. A lot of times you'll see where you'll be going along the road and all of a sudden it's smooth and all of a sudden you hit a bump and thought, what in the world's happened here? But they will actually cut a piece out, put a new culvert in, gravel it and let it settle for a while. They cannot immediately go in and put concrete or blacktop over it. You've got to have a settling effect, and or you'll always have an indention there. But my understanding, they're going to replace a tile there and widen the road both.
Oh, wow. Now,
Yeah.
see, I like that because that actually explained a lot right there for me.
Well, that lets the water go under the road instead of trying to go over the road.
Well, that and coming off that hill, if anybody, people that are familiar with that there is we've got a slide basically that goes
You've got
down
a
through
slide
there.
coming both ways. That's a unique place.
Well, and now explain again. Remind us, down 293 North is going to be closed for a couple of days, but it's during certain hours, right?
8:15 till 4:30, I think, Thursday and Friday. I think is what Keith Todd's message said.
So, I mean, if we leave a little bit early, maybe if we normally come through there just right after it, maybe leave it a little early or come in a little late. And if on some of those roads that they're talking about now, Highway 70 is going to take you way down. As far as a detour, they're talking about the crossroads where it's going to come out, right?
Yeah. The 293 down to Highway 70 across to 139 is by far the widest, best state roads in that area. 1119 is a curvy road, a winding road, but once again, it is a state road. But you don't have near the width through there. But
right. Say if you've got a wide load or a semi or something like that, 1119 is probably not going to be the route that you want to take.
No, if you've got anything other than just a regular vehicle, 1119 is not a good option. But,
And there's really not a lot of Duke Boy roads to get into town through there. I mean, you can do it if you know them pretty well, but you get back into that behind Barbecue Valley. There's really no cut through over here to 91 or anything like that. You pretty much have to take that 1119.
You have to go through Farmersville or down to Cresswell, one or the other.
Go all the way down.
Yeah, you can cut through Shady Grove Road. You can cut through 4 or 5 roads there, but it's one of those things, if you're cutting through the roads to try to save a few minutes and you take a left instead of a right, the next thing you know, you've got an hour detour instead of 2 or 3 minutes.
I'm going to throw that out there. Shady Grove Road, that's my road. That's where I live. And I'll tell you, if you're not familiar, we do not have a yellow line down the middle of the road, folks. And if you're not familiar with that area, you will get lost back in there pretty quick.
You can get lost in there really quick. I've been around the area all my life, and I'll still get twisted around every once in a while when I get in an area I haven't been in 3 or 4 years.
We do that on purpose out in Farmersville.
Farmersville,
take the scenic route, right?
Metropolitan area. After you've detoured through Scacey Fats to get to Farmersville, you're already excited.
I love the names of our communities. I do.
You gotta
I
love
love
them.
it.
Yeah, it's pretty neat to go back and try to find the history. Jeff probably knows a lot of the history on some of the old names of it, but Scacey Fat is one of those places that is dear and near to folks' heart. You just gotta love that name.
Well,
people go through Crowtown every day, and a lot of people have no idea where Crowtown is.
I love
that's
it.
Right. Yeah.
Scacey Fat and Crowtown. I love that. And as far as the people that live out on the north end as well, you need to be advised, even if you don't usually go down 293 to go to town or go back and forth and you go the other way, the increased traffic on our roads out there for a couple of days is going to be a real thing. So, for those who are usually out and about, we have a lot of people that walk in the afternoon and that sort of thing, because it is, scenic out our way. So there's a lot of people that enjoy walking and that sort of thing. So if you're going to be using our back roads and that sort of, or if you're out walking, you need to be aware of the increased traffic.
Yeah, you need to be aware of the increased traffic, plus the deer patterns down in that area or something when it starts getting around dusk, when the deer are moving. And you're going to get a lot more of the deer activity on the county roads, and 1119 has got more deer activity than a lot of 293 that close to town. You get further on out, 293 is a deer haven, but right at the parkway, it's not that bad normally.
Well, now, when you talk about that, are we having a lot more accidents due to the deer, out in the county? I mean, is that something that's increasing, it seems like?
I've got a really good friend that runs one of the body shops here in town, and I pick on him about deer season. And I was with him probably the last time I saw him, talked to him in length of time a few months ago, and he has not slowed down for the last 3 years. The deer accidents have been a lot worse the last 2 years. The small field that the FFA has planted wheat and got double crop beans in this year, when you go through there late of an afternoon, it's not unusual to see 10 to 20 deer in that one little 7 to 8, 10 acre field. the deer are just abundant in the last 2 years, more so than normal. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I will say we've noticed over the last couple of years when we go down the road, especially in out in what I call the boonies, but
Yes.
I mean, when you're out there, you get used to knowing where they hang out.
Yes.
It's like teenagers that hang out in the same spot all the time. The deer, they kind of have their favorite hangouts.
Yeah, the deer are not a lot different people. We've all got a route that we like to travel, and they're the same way.
Jeff, are you pleased? Of course, you've been on the fiscal court for now. Seems like to me, we've got some pretty good funding for roads throughout the county for improvements. I know Jeff has mentioned some stuff. What is your take on some of the funding and the potential, some of the funding that we've had for our roads here in the county?
We have been extremely blessed with some discretionary funds to do some work on Princeton-Olney Road, almost 4 miles out there. And average person has no idea what it costs to pave a mile of road. I had no idea till I got in office, but you're looking at $80,000 a mile to pave a road, $40,000 a mile to chip and seal a road, and the county road budget here is not that drastic. And if it hadn't been for the determination that Larry Curlin and some of the others have had staying after some of these projects, this $329,000 discretionary fund on this 4 miles on Princeton-Olney Road is a blessing out there. The road out there had gotten bad enough that I was leery of taking my rough vehicles out through there. And Old Wilson Warehouse Road is another one that we've put discretionary fund request in on. Have not heard anything back from that. There's flex fund money coming into the county. We're going to fix some places with that money that normally we don't have the money. Of course, election year, I'm sure, has a lot to do with the extra funding being available at the state level. Let's just call it what it is. But my opinion is if Frankfurt's going to give the money out, I want my hand in the kitty and get all I can get from
Take
Caldwell
advantage
County.
of it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, and I will say there's been a lot of work out our way for turnarounds and that sort of thing for the buses.
Yes. Wendell Lane does such an excellent job. I can't brag on Wendell and his staff enough out of the county road department. But Wendell's just an old country boy, and he knows what it is to live in the county, and he knows the struggles. And Wendell tries to take care of business. And I've had quite a few people come to me since being elected. Can you check into this? Can you check into that? And first thing I do is ask Wendell, what can we do here? What can we legally do? What can we legally not do? And he has always been up front. I've been able to fix some things on Shady Grove Road by putting some rock on the side of the road where people were running off the road. The restrictions on widening the county roads, the magistrate probably 20 years ago ran into a problem with that. He determined that the county need to widen every county road, and if you drive them, you'll realize that they're not wide enough for most people to drive on. And most of us country people, we like to drive one place on the road, and that's the center of the road. And
and we pass equipment a lot too.
Yes, yeah, there's so much farm equipment on it, and these county roads are so narrow. And some work Wendell had done on Shady Grove Road, and a few others down in there, putting some rock on the shoulders, building that up has allowed people better travel and a lot safer. And got a new man at the State Highway Barn, and I apologize right now, I cannot remember his name, but he is doing a wonderful job. Not that the man before him didn't do a good job, but the roadways are mowed good and clean back to the edges of the field, and you can actually see where you're going. And Wendell's people, his men at the county road department are doing the same. And when you can see on those road sides, it's just so much safer driving for everybody.
Well, and I will say they were out yesterday on my way home. They were out yesterday actually trimming some of the trees. We happened to have a storm last night, so It's probably a good thing that they did. But they were also, mowing off so that, we could see with the buses and that sort of thing right here before school. And they were doing that yesterday.
Yeah. Wes Bentley is the young man who's come in from Poole, I think, to run the highway department here. And Wes he's been very open, very helpful. He and Charlotte Cotton is the district engineer here. They've both been to physical court meetings 2 or 3 times and very open, approachable. And if you have any problem, you can get a hold of Wendell at the state barn, or at the county barn, and you can get a hold of Wes at the state barn.
And we would encourage everybody to get involved and listen to what's going on in your county government and attend those fiscal court meetings. But they're open to the public. And
the fiscal court meetings are open to the public. When I decided to run, I started going, and you can learn a whole lot. And It's easy. I'm just a very plain person. Ty knows that as well. And you will understand that once you're around me a little bit, but I call a spade. But if you're going to fuss about something, take time to learn and get involved and figure out. There are rules and regulations that the county has to go by, the state has to go by, the federal government has to go by. And I didn't understand why things happened the way they did here for a long time, but get involved and ask questions. People at the courthouse are very open, very receptive, and willing to sit down and discuss what's going on and why they have to do what they have to do.
Talk to your magistrates.
Yes. Yeah, the magistrates, Elbert Bennett, Brent Stallings have been on quite some time. Jeff Sims and myself just starting out this time, but we're learning. But we're all approachable, all easy to get a hold of, just common old country boys. And we're here for you to help however we can.
For District 2, how do we get a hold of you for District 2 for those folks?
District 2, 270-963-0200 is my cell phone number. Never home, it doesn't seem like, so we did away with the home number. I mean, it's just the world we live in today. But feel free to call me anytime, and if I can't get the phone, I'll get right back to you. But 270-963-0200, and I'll get back and do what I can to help you.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. And I kind of put him on the spot when we learned about this road closure, and it's a major road closure.
Yes, it is major.
For 2 days there. Let's remind them again,
yes.
Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday. They're going to close at 8:15 Thursday morning, and not sure what time Friday it will be open.
Okay. And that's if weather permits and everything goes good.
Yes.
We're talking about a 2-day closure, right?
Yes,
Okay, now that's 293 North for those of us that are familiar with the area, Barbecue Valley.
Yes.
And that's just north of I-69.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in.
Appreciate you stopping by, Jeff.
Appreciate y'all having me. Appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate all the radio station does to help the community.
Well, we sure do appreciate it. 9:02, Tess and Ty on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. And, of course, hey, it's Wednesday. Todd's going to be here tomorrow with the Sideline Report. I am going to have on my blue and gold tomorrow because you know what? It's football day. I love it.
It is football day.
Tess
for
and
the
Ty.
middle school, right?
That's right. Middle school football day tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. I
That's
could
awesome.
not be more excited. And I'm going to don my blue and gold tomorrow. That's when I'm the football mama. Oh, yeah. Hey, Audrey Lamb is just around the corner with your news, and Todd's going to get you updated on sports. And, of course, Ty's going to have your complete forecast coming up next. It's Tess and Ty in 1580, 103.3 WPKY.